So Rome is the one, and the Eastern Orthodox, you could just call them the same. I think the main show is actually run out of China, Russia, Ethiopia, and the Vatican. And isn't it interesting how Italy, the country where the Vatican, it looks just like Florida. You see, that's big in these Masons' minds with all their sacred geometry and all this and that. But here we have Matt, I can't remember his last name, but that he would call his show The Remnant, and it's staunchly Catholic, is pretty fresh, huh? That's not fresh in a I agree way, it's fresh in a yikes. They get hung up on the history of things, the traditions, literally ignoring Jesus' exact words. Jesus said that because he knew they'd try and make it about everything but the relationship with him. They'd try and make it about everything but him taking you to the Father, but him filling you full of the Holy Spirit and walking with you every day. And as soon as you have a relationship, the Roman Catholic beast begins its process of trying to peel you away. Now, competition, getting you involved in the world is a really sneaky way to do it. And let me tell you something it does. When they get people loving their favorite soccer team or their favorite baseball team or whatever it is, it brings out a primal thing in us that I don't think is needed. Perhaps back when it was more tribal and it was this, but now it just kind of creates a political team-mindedness, and I think that's their whole goal. And a religious one, you look at all of the denominations that popped out during the Industrial Revolution, you can tell they were spending some money on paying some fake pastors to go up and act like they knew what they were talking about. All that said, when the way that we have to deal with this, and this is why it's so wonderful God gave us an acid test. Hebrews 11:6. Are they about that? Are they teaching you to pursue God's will? And his will is very obvious. It's written in his word. And for your life mission, it's also in Isaiah that we exist. I think it's Isaiah that we exist to please God. We were created to please God. People struggle with this. Why? He's already said that you can have everything he has. Why do you need to be a position? Why do you need to have this, that, or the other when the entire storehouse of God's infinite wealth has been deposited into your account when you come to Jesus? Now, how does the devil keep you far away from realizing that? By keeping you out of the Word of God. Romans 10:17 is the verse that we focus on here so often, because Romans 10:17 is the one place in the Bible where God sets up a transactional system. Faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word. Meaning, if you hear the word, your faith will increase. It's not something you have to monitor and manage. It's just like when you eat a bowl of cereal in the morning. You don't have to understand how your body breaks it down, turns the milk into this, the cereal into that, so that you can absorb whatever good nutrients are there. These days, not many, I know, but it's the exact same thing in the spiritual realm. That's why you can just read the Bible at your children. You don't have to stop, make sure they understand every little thing. Just let it wash over them, saturate them. The literal vibration of your voice saying the words has a power signature that's unlike anything else on this earth. And it affects everyone. If I could tell you how afraid the devil and his fallen angels are of just having to listen to the Bible out loud. They are petrified of it. Petrified of him. They are horrified of Jesus. I've seen it up close and personal because of the spiritual warfare we've been blessed to have because of this path that God set me and my wife and my son on. And, you're going to have times where, like when Paul said that if you're married and you have children, you're going to have times where you'll understand what Paul meant when he was saying that he sees it better that someone not marry so they can serve the Lord, when the natural components of just being married or having children pull you into a worldly existence. God understands it, but you see, oh, okay, I'd be a little more efficient. Maybe not a little bit, maybe a lot, but it doesn't matter because God can cover those ends. He can make it all come out 20 times more blessed than it would have been if you just stay focused and stay in faith. Faith is the thing that when it starts growing, you're helping yourself, but you're also helping your children. You're helping your spouse. You're helping your work. You're helping everyone that is touched by you in your sphere of existence is going to be blessed by your relationship with God. Now, some of them, it might be they get a thump on the head because of how they've been living. And you'll think, oh, that didn't go. No, they need it. They might not have had that. But again, we're not the judge, jury, executioner. You don't go and start saying, okay, now because I'm a Christian, I'm going to remind these people about their sins. You just act just like you did. There's no act to put on. You just be yourself and read the Bible a lot. And let God change you as you are saturated in His Word. Now, if you were stranded on an island and you had a week to live and you didn't have a Bible, but you really came to Him, God would put the words in your mind. He would put it in your heart. He's good like that. But we don't have that situation. We are blessed to be able to pick up our Bibles every day, or read them on our phone, listen to them on our phone. And that's what these Catholics will not tell, will not teach. I keep waiting for some of them to break from the Pope and say, why does the Catholic Church keep us out of the Bible? Why did they change the language to Latin back in the day? Why did we have the Inquisition? That's the biggest one. And then you got the Vatican pedophile list that parses right with the Epstein, because the Vatican is the one who taught these Jesuits how to do the black magic rituals that are found in said Epstein list. And who else is a Jesuit but Trump? That's the Dr. Strange wannabes. Okay? And I think that the words that they've been using or had power is a system that once they lose all faith in it, it crumbles really fast. And so whether it was that they were greasing the gears with money this whole time, making it look like more things were going their way, they've been pretending they have power. They've been pretending that they're the good guys even. You see how Trump's was making himself akin to Jesus, even though it wasn't outwardly. He was letting himself be on the same t-shirts as him. Jesus is my king, Trump is my president. I mean, what a blasphemous thing. He's the Antichrist. And then he's going out and selling Bibles. But you see how vain and hopeless their situation is. That was their best plan for how to war against God, was that Trump sell Bibles. Yeah, great idea. But you see, it's from one ridiculous decision to the other. And a lot of this had been hidden in the past because all these sketchy occult-like decisions he was making because of his superstitious nature, and that he only counts the wins and he never counts the losses. Now it's leaking into his running the country, if he's even doing it. And, the Air Force needs to be scaled back. DARPA needs to be scaled back. Both need to be audited, and we need to see what went on, because Donald Trump's involved with Donald Rumsfeld's announcement. Sorry for mumbling. If Donald Rumsfeld's announcement that $2 trillion was missing, and then 9/11 happens the next day, and we have Donald Trump, within 45 minutes of it happening, on the news. It's so obvious. You know that in 1993, that bombing in the basement was the same year that Netanyahu's psychopathic cult made diplomatic relations with the Vatican. How about that? Same thing. That's like the launch off of it. And then the Lutherans, they claimed, but signed some things saying that the protest is over. And Pope John is signing things that are basically saying, like, we're taking things over. They have a mass in Jerusalem in 2000. Yep, right after that, this next year, we get the Antichrist doing the World Trade Center. Pope Francis has a mass in 2015. The next year, the Antichrist is elected president. So you can see how it all fits together. And basically all he did was he took the prophetic fulfillings of his being the Antichrist, and they tried to warp him in with like the barren underground journey and all this into like something where he's like, oh, he's good, he's benevolent, and he must have some kind of thing going on with some kind of higher power, or why would he be Trump in this book from because first of all, he's been around since then, if you ask me. There's a bust of his head on a castle in England that's like 400 years old, and it looks just like him. I mean, spot on. More when he's got like the General Patton look. But what's up with that General Patton stuff? I mean, you talk about haptic holographics. We saw Trump disappear during the Zelensky chew-out. I'm never going to let that go. That will always be a topic we talk about. And then he glitched out on the plane, and Midas Touch, who claims to be against him, helped him cover it up. Now, where's that from? Is there like a fallen angel seam that is against him because they see that they're up against the wall and Trump is a millstone tied about their neck? Maybe he being it isn't the best, but that they got one tied about their neck, and it's either that they twice crucified Jesus or they won't come home to him. You need to come home. You need to stop doing what you're doing. Dedicate yourself to God and say, I'm going to study your word every day. I'm going to read. And it's not that that's the thing that saves you alone itself, but that's the activity that will douse your soul and spirit in the faith, in the food that you are so desperately hungering for. It'll literally feel euphoric for most people, especially if it's been forever since you've been in it.